that was weird. Sorry, my suddenly had a screen pop up saying your camera's in use. I was like, yeah, I'm using it. Afternoon. How is everybody? Afternoon, Mark, Peter, Monkey, Chris, Dennis. How are you all doing? It's Monday afternoon. So just a quick update on this morning's trades, opening range breakout wise. I took profit on the ones from this morning. Really crap move today on the DAX and the FTSE, so we didn't actually move anywhere. So those are the ORBs today from the morning session. Didn't really do anything. So I just took profit on it as we basically rejected the highs. Away. So yeah, that was the break this morning on the 15-minute ORB. We pushed up, rejected, came back down, bought it, rejected, bought it. I was assuming that was going to be a rejection, so I just closed it. There's just not enough movement today in the European session to actually do anything with it. Same with the FTSE. Exactly the right decision. Look, so we've just come back down again. So that was your break on the 15. We got up to there. We rejected it, so I've taken it off. So coming down now. Banked 300 this morning. So we'll watch what happens with the US Open. The main news we've had this morning, there's been no news, so there's no news at all today. If we look at the scheduled news, we've got Waller speaking later, but that's it. So the only news we've really had that's come out of any impact this morning, if we just go back, so this is this morning's session, we had the announcement from NVIDIA. They're going to start manufacturing supercomputer chips in the US for the first time at some point in the future. Obviously, it's very open and woolly, but they're trying to rally the market, I guess. OPEC cuts oil demand forecast this year. So again, oil prices at the moment, we discussed these this morning in the live room. Oil price at the moment took a very big hit down to $55 a barrel. So again, that's negative news for oil that we've just had come out this morning as well. Demand obviously dropping at low prices means it's probably going to stabilize where it is. We're making enormous progress on tariff talks within the EU, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so that's it. So I was expecting today on the back of this news to get a nice rally off the NASDAQ, because this is obviously good news. They've dropped all the tariffs on the chips from China. So obviously big import from China is electronics. They've decided we're not going to tariff all of that lot. I was expecting a huge rally today. Not getting it. The market has just got no confidence whatsoever in stocks or the US dollar. He's really, really hurt the US. So, you know, you can see here, we're obviously, that's the first 5-minute opening range today. It's too small to trade. And it was as well this morning on the European markets as well. But that is certainly not rallying, is it, at the minute? So we'll see what happens. We'll give it first 15 minutes. We'll have a look at where we go. But market confidence absolutely in tatters. We did gap up at the open. So the Globex session, obviously, as you can see, that's the Globex session today. Ever such a slight gap up, not very big at all. Market not rallying behind that news from NVIDIA at all today. So be very interesting to see what happens. If we get another sell-off today after trying to rally the market, you basically means they're not interested. So it's going to be a very interesting session today, I think. I was expecting a rally, but not getting one. Morning. I can't say your name. Absug. Why are you just saying gold? Marco, morning, afternoon even. I've got to get you saying afternoon. It's the New York session. But everybody says morning because it's the morning session for you guys. So yeah, we'll see where we go. So no trades at the moment there. Just get those minimized down so we can have a look at them. So yeah, great week last week. Up 3K on the week, which is great. So 5 weeks on the trot now, 6 weeks on the trot now, no loss. Had a losing day in there, but that was recovered. So news-wise this week, we did go through all the news this morning. I'll go through it again quickly now. There's very little news today, obviously. We just got Waller speaking. It's the claimant count for the UK tomorrow morning. We've got the CPI tomorrow afternoon for the Canadian dollar. That is forecast to drop. That is irrelevant, all of this now, because obviously with the tariffs and everything, inflation is going to go up. So the market isn't really going to pay too much attention to a nice drop in inflation because that's just last month. That's not going to happen, is it, this month? So, yeah, inflation is going to start to rise. So we'll see what market makes of that. We're not sure. It's going to be difficult to tell whether or not they're going to rally at all on any of this information. CPI for the pound, obviously, 10% tariff still in place. We're expecting a drop. We've got the Canadian interest rates. They are expected to remain stable. We've got retail for the US. We've got CPI for the New Zealand. We've got Australian unemployment. And then we've got the European rate, which is going to drop by 0.25% on Thursday. And then we've got the ECB press conference on Friday. I'm not here. And I'm not here on Monday either, because Monday is a bank holiday in the UK as well as Friday. So I get a nice week off. So, yeah. That's this week's news. It'd be really interesting to see whether or not the market actually pays any attention to it, because obviously we're interested in Trump, and Trump trumps everything at the moment. Afternoon, John. Gregor's FTNet, how are you doing? So, looking at the FX markets this morning, there's no ADRs. I'm running on ADR 3 at the moment. On the indicator and the dashboard, just so that I'm taking into account this big volatility that we're seeing. Friday was quite a quiet day. Whether you're using ADR 3 or ADR 5, you're going to get roughly the same reading. Even if you're using ADR 10, we covered this again this morning. We're on day 7 now of the tariffs. So basically, if you're using an ADR 10, you're going to get roughly the same numbers at the moment as if you're using an ADR 3. So, yeah, there's no hits today. So obviously no news today, no hits. There's no big rallies going. There's been no announcements by Trump or anything. So at the moment, calm. Weekly ranges, I'm still using 10-week range, which is 3-month quarterly range. None of these obviously been hit because we haven't had any movement today. I think these are probably going to be okay to trade reversals off, but we'll wait and see. The monthlies you can't pay any attention to because obviously it's all gone nuts. So, yeah, we'll see how we get on today, but no ADRs at all. Market just not moving anywhere. If we look at the Australian, hardly any movement on anything so far today. Really, really, really quiet session. I think the market's still a little bit in shock, trying to figure out what to do. We've had a decent move on the pound. Pound CAD, we almost got an ADR on, but that was mainly because of the Canadian dollar movement. But yeah, everything else very, very quiet today. So as you would expect on a no news day. Little bit of Swiss franc weakness coming in this morning as well. So everything rallied against the Swiss franc, but we haven't even done a half an ADR on anything. So as I say, really, really quiet session. 10-minute range is in. Still no trades. So, yeah, we're well within minimum ranges at the moment. This is ADR 10 I'm using on the ORB. So, yeah, not enough volume at the open at the minute. So we'll see if we can get a trade. I don't think we're going to get any trades today. I think it's going to be 30-minute ranges today. Might be a nice quick session today. Richard, do you mainly take profit on the opening range trades? Yeah. So yeah, basically, I just manually banked those this morning because it's not going anywhere. No point in holding on to these. Markets literally, since the open this morning, the market has not gone anywhere. It's an opening range momentum breakout strategy. There is no momentum. So out, done. Yeah, you can't expect a big move or a big profit on those sorts of days. So just take what you get. Do you go 100% flat on holiday? No. Sometimes, but position trading, no, because when you got positions on, you're swing trading, so you hold those. They only need checking once every day anyway, so that's not a problem. With ORB, scalping, I won't do that on holiday, no. So won't be trading on. I might let the ORB just run itself on Friday, but probably in the US session only. Because if you look at the bank holiday this weekend, this Friday and Monday, DAX, yeah, and UK. So the FTSE and the DAX are going to have very little volume. So there's no point in trying to squeeze trades out of the European indices. The US indices, you're still working. I could have sworn it was a bank holiday in the US as well. Is it not? Do you not celebrate Easter in America? Canadians are having a bank holiday. Apparently not. You don't do Easter. Poor bunnies. Afternoon, Mimo. Church. Own forex. Ismet. Howdy doody. No Eastern in US. They have no eggs anymore. No. It's sad, isn't it? No Easter in the US. Yeah. Oh well. We'll just eat all the eggs ourselves. So NASDAQ testing pre-market lows. So is the S&P. Dow's not quite there yet. So we'll see if we get a rejection down here. That's a big sell-off. Considering this is good news today. Yeah, this is good news for the NASDAQ. It ain't reacting very nicely, is it? So look at that. Huge sell-off at the open. Wow. Okay, so NASDAQ, so your Globex low is there. So gap fill is in play today as a target to the downside. So watch for a bounce out the gap if we get there. But market really not happy this afternoon. Okay, we've got 30 seconds until the 15-minute range is in. We are rejecting the this sort of low area at the minute. So we'll see if that holds. It's not going to be big enough to trade today, unfortunately. So I don't think I'm going to get any trades on. In fact, I'm definitely not going to get any trades on. NASDAQ's close. Yeah, so NASDAQ got an ORB on the NASDAQ on the 15, but nothing on the S&P and nothing on the Dow. Too tight. So NASDAQ, looking at targets, obviously upside targets on the NASDAQ. Got to go out quite a way on the NAS. That is already zoomed out. So yeah, upside NASDAQ. If we do break long, obviously resistance from last week's high is there. So that is Thursday's high and Wednesday's high. That's obviously Trump announcing the 90-day freeze. So that is your upside resistance today. If we break the upside resistance, nice, easy, clean breakthrough. So watch that target area there for resistance and a breakout. If we get a breakout, very easy. Trade through there. Alfredo upgraded membership to Mega Fan and Tester. Good one, Alfredo. Welcome aboard. This is the first time someone's actually done a membership upgrade live on stream. I think you may be a first there. Congratulations. Downside targets on the NASDAQ, obviously gap fill would be your first entry, first potential downside support. Failing that, if this is going to sell off today, we can go as far as we want, obviously, at the moment. Market will just drive as fast and as hard as it fancies. But there's very little volume so far in the European session, so we'll just wait and see what happens. But it does look like it's trying to break short again. So I'll be watching this. If you want to, a 1-hour target on this, depending on what you're using as a stop. I'm using at the moment a 15% stop, I think. Yeah. So I'm using a 15 at the moment instead of a 10% of ADR. So that is 15% of ADR there. So a 1-to-1 is going to be roughly your gap fill. So it does actually make sense, depending on how aggressive you want to be. But just trying to get out with a portion of the trade, it's roughly 1-to-1. It's just shy, actually, of 1-to-1 on mine. But if you're using 10% of ADR, your stop's going to be roughly here somewhere. So that makes a logical target to the downside. So short NASDAQ, I'm going to go for the gap fill initially, and then we'll see. But it's got to break, obviously, first. There's not a lot of volume today. Pretty slow, isn't it? And it's rejecting. So we'll see where we go. Right, FX-wise, as I say, at the moment, there's no ADRs. There's no weekly range hits. We went through all the FX pairs this morning in the live room. The Swiss franc at the moment and the yen are the main beneficiaries of, obviously, the tariffs. So all the money being pulled out of stocks and being pulled out of the US is being put into safe havens at the moment, which is going into the Swiss franc and the yen for safekeeping. So when the market starts to recover and starts to mean revert some of these moves, you're going to find the money's going to come back out of the Swiss and out of the yen and into more risky assets. At the moment, though, the Fear and Greed Index, let's just see if they've published it so far today. No. So the Fear and Greed Index is back up at 23. So we are still in extreme fear. Yeah. So there's going to be very little interest in buying stocks at the moment because we are still at a point where we are worried about what the next move is going to be from Trump. So when we start getting back out into these sorts of areas here, stock market will start to recover. Swiss franc and the yen will start to sell off. So at the minute, obviously, we can see that they're just selling the stocks again so far at the open, which doesn't mean that's going to happen. Obviously, we've only had 15 minutes of price action. But from an FX perspective, everything at the moment is basically selling off against the US dollar. So that US dollar is getting absolutely killed at the minute. It's trying to recover so far today. It's had a little bit of a bounce, like ever so slightly, but it is enough to give us a reversal alert on most of the US pairs. So if you look at things like Euro US, not quite actually on that one because it's such a big move on Friday, but Pound US, there you go. We just had the reversal alert going in. So there is a possibility that we are going to see a little bit of US strength come in and trickle in today, but not looking particularly healthy, is it? It's looking more like a 20 MA pullback and continuation. So we'll see what happens. But if anybody's got any FX pairs specifically they want to look at, let me know. We can look at them individually, but I did go through pretty much everything this morning in the live room, so there's no point in going through it. Again, if you want to look at all that, go and look at this morning's live room. We've got this lovely double top going in on the Pound US at the minute. But as I said this morning, mean reversion is a dangerous thing to attempt at the minute. The market is scared to death of the US dollar. They do not want to touch it with a barge pole at the moment. So if you're selling the double top here, you're basically buying the US dollar at a time when the market is not interested. So until we get some more confidence coming back into the market, i.e. Trump's got to do something to appease the rest of the world, I don't think it's going to recover. It's possibly going to sit around, but I can't see any reason at the moment for that. that news was very, very well timed this morning, NVIDIA, to come out before market open with the hope that it will rally the market. Yeah, so we had the announcement over the weekend that, I think it was actually on Friday late, that chip from China will not be included in those tariffs. So they're easing a little bit of the China tariffs. But NVIDIA's announcement that they will start manufacturing is, let's really rally that market. Not worked, is it? So again, just shows you how little confidence there is in the US at the minute. So with FX, I'd be much more inclined to try and get pullback continuations on all these moves that we've got at the minute. Commodities are bouncing back. Australia, New Zealand bouncing back a little bit. But faith in the US is just not there at the moment. So we'll see what happens. So I'm more interested in that personally, rather than trying to trade back down. But go with the flow, go with momentum. Like I said this morning, drop down onto low time frames, and take reversal alerts in the direction of the current movement. So we're obviously rallying hard at the minute. So drop down M15, Aussie US, for example, take that one. Although that reversal there worked, you're going to get a much bigger movement, I think, out of continuations at the moment than you are out of reversals. So reversal alerts in line with current trend, probably the order of the day at the moment. Afternoon outro. I don't know whether to say afternoon or morning. I'm not used to being here in the afternoon, so I don't know whose morning it is and whose afternoon it is at the minute. It's all new. Right. So very little interest in doing much at the moment. So very good rejection to the downside. So a lot of buyers stepping in here. So we may well get that rally today, but they're taking their sweet time about it, aren't they? The other thing we looked at this morning was gold. Obviously, gold's had a very, very healthy rally off the back of the tariffs. So we've obviously gold price has been going up anyway. It's absolutely got kick-started last week. So again, same thing with this. If you're shorting it, make sure you're out fast because it's much more likely to pop at the minute. I think, again, this is just another US dollar cross, US dollar down, gold up. Oil as well. We looked at this one this morning. It's going to struggle to get lower than $55 a barrel. I think you've seen the logo in there. So much more inclined to long this one at the minute. However, OPEC's announcement this morning is potentially bearish, but dropping below $55 a barrel is going to be very hard for them to produce oil and actually make a profit on it. So I think what we're likely to see is sort of a little bit of a basing down here. So in theory, you should be able to trade it in either direction, but more likely longs. So again, drop down low time frames, wait for those reversal alerts long. Ignore shorts. I mean, you can obviously take shorts. They will still work out, but I think you're going to get more movement going back in the opposite direction at the minute. Just realized I've got a test running over here. I was thinking my computer's like, when you run a back test, my computer goes like it's having trouble. And it's just looking over there thinking that's going mental today, and I don't know why. I've just realized I've got a back test running. I'll shut that off. Thanks for subscribing, Nick. Welcome aboard. This could be a boring session because there's literally nothing happening at the minute. So 15-minute ORB is in. The last 15 minutes since then, we are inside bar on that candle, look, pretty much. We have just wicked out the bottom of it, but we're pretty much inside bar at the minute. So indecision. So bears have stepped in initially, but no follow through. Does look like the buyers are trying to fight back, but there's just no willing in either direction at the minute. So to kind of sit on your hands and wait type day today. This morning was exactly the same. We just couldn't get anywhere, but we'll see. So I have to say it's going the opposite direction to what I thought it was going to do today. I was expecting a big pop up this morning, but we haven't got it. So market's scared to death at the minute. Look at that. Lots more sellers stepping in. Has anybody got any pairs or anything specific they want to look at? Anything they want to discuss today? I have covered most of it in the morning, but happy to look at any individual pairs if you've got anything you want to look at. Position trading wise, I'm going to give it this week and stay flat this week because I've got the long weekend off. And I just want to see how the market reacts this week. We've had all those tariffs removed. I want to see what the other countries are doing negotiation-wise with Trump this week. And I want to see how the China situation develops this week. If it's all calmed down and we are going to be stuck just with the China tariffs and everybody else is going to get off with the 10%, then I think we're probably going to get back to a little bit more normal price action in FX. But until we do, I'm not going to position trade at the moment. So I'm just keeping that account flat for the time being. Just waiting for a little bit of normality to reign. Breakout strategies are working absolutely fantastically at the minute. So short-term breakouts is the order of the day while all this craziness is going on. But that will obviously cease as well. So on the BBC website, Donald Trump says Chinese-made smartphones and other electronics will not be exempt from tariffs, adding they are simply moving into a different levy bucket. What? But that's not what he said. What can you do with this sort of information? You know, it's just, it literally is just woolly and changing by the day, by the second almost. You can't, you know, this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. That would make sense then why the NASDAQ hasn't bounced today. If that is the case, yeah, there's absolutely no reason to buy anything. Sell the crap out of everything. It's all still dead. Yeah. All of these companies that you see in the NASDAQ, they are all companies that vast majority of their manufacturing and export is done in China. Yeah. So the entire NASDAQ index basically is stuffed at the minute. Most indices, obviously, most businesses are stuffed at the minute in some way, shape or form. But anything to do with electronics, really going to struggle. And if that is the case, that explains why I didn't get this pop today. So I was under the impression it was he was basically backtracking. It's his way of backtracking on his China tariffs because obviously he's got it really wrong. Yeah, China's just coming back with reciprocals. All that's going to happen is that everyone in America is just going to pay 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times more for whatever they buy than they did before the tariffs came in. No one else is going to lose out on this, just the American people. So that I understood was his way of going, yeah, all right, I got it wrong. But if he's not, there's going to be no market confidence today, is there? And that was kind of what we're looking at the minute. He keeps flip-flopping, yeah. He should live in Australia, shouldn't he? Although in Australia they call flip-flops thongs. Weird. That came out on Bloomberg this morning. Yeah, I didn't see it. It hasn't. If it has filtered through into Financial Juice, they didn't put it in red. Oh, there you go. Look, Trump levy news still drives the markets. Stocks rose, powered by a rally in tech stocks. Rose by about that much. 2% on Apple, 5% pre-market trading. The dollar fell for a fifth day as Trump warned that a specific levy for electronics will be announced later. That was at 12 o'clock, so that was 3 hours ago. So we are going to get another announcement today by the sounds of things. Look at that. China offers banks extra gold import quotas as investors flock. Yeah. They are literally out of America, straight into China. He's just played straight into China's hands here. Absolutely. Crazy. I'm encouraged by Trump's more gradual tariff process, Goldman Sachs. What do you mean, complete reversal? This market's dead today. Yeah, sit on your hands at the minute. There's just nothing to do. No direction. I get the feeling we're waiting for Trump. We're waiting for Trump's announcement. This thing's not going to move today until we actually hear. There's no interest in trying to be speculative when you've got something that is going to go parabolic as soon as he opens his mouth. So market's just sitting there. Algos will just be executing orders. Just get the orders done that have got to be done, but no speculative trading coming in at all. It's dead as a door now. Oh, well. I have a question about ORB. Is trading US 500 and NAS not nearly the same? Yep, they are very correlated. So if you don't want to over leverage, just trade one. But this is a prime example of why I trade two. There is no trade on the S&P 500 this morning because the initial range was too small. The NASDAQ, however, has got a range within criteria, so it's taken a short. So, yeah, I mean, they all US indices. I mean, the Dow at the moment is incredibly correlated to these two. Yeah, the Dow usually does its own thing, but at the moment, with what's going on, the Dow does fall into correlation and out of correlation a lot with the other indices. It's very hit and miss because it's industrial stocks. Here we go. Something's popped. We just get a news announcement just come out. Meta faces potential breakup. The little pop there, we had a long order come in. But yeah, the Dow, obviously, at the moment, everything looks almost identical because we're just getting sector purchases coming in, and overall buying and selling is very, very similar. It's not normally this correlated. You know, there's loads of times where you'll see the S&P do that and the NASDAQ will do that at the same time because they are totally different sectors. So, you know, you've got a very wide range of stocks in there in lots of different sectors. That's purely tech, that's purely industrial. Yeah. So if the industrial sector, motor, manufacturing, etc., gets hit hard by something, that will come down and NASDAQ can fly on earnings. Yeah, we've got earnings as well this week, which is the other thing to factor in. The market tends to go quiet on earnings before earnings come in. So we've got... where are we? The 14th. Yeah, so Goldman's earnings are today. We've got the earnings fortnight kicking off. Yeah, so Citigroup, Johnson's and stuff this week. We've got Blackstone, probably bigger ones towards the end of this week, and Netflix. And then next week we go into, you know, proper earnings fortnight kicks off. Google, everybody else in there. So we've got 2 to 3 weeks of potential fast breaks, but I've noticed in the last 6 months or so, stopping out on the NASDAQ, the last 6 months or so, the earnings fortnight has been a lot quieter. Just because I'm not quite sure, actually, to be honest, why. It has just been quieter than normal. It's when we normally get the volatility coming through, earnings fortnight, we tend to get those big fast breaks as earnings are released, and we get a lot of sector news coming out. It just doesn't seem to be like that for the last 6 months. It's been very, very tame. But we are moving into that again. So could have some decent volatility coming in. So 30-minute ranges are in. So no trades. That's it. That's it, done for the day, basically. So yeah, going to be a break-even day, $90 loss. So break-even, basically. There's no trades on the S&P, no trades on the Dow. If the market breaks long, I will take a NASDAQ long. Trump could rally today and get a move in that direction. For the DAX, obviously, I'm out of the DAX, I'm out of the FTSE longs. So there is a possibility of taking both of those as a short break today. So if the market suddenly collapses for any reason today, I will go short FTSE and DAX and a long on the NASDAQ. So, but at the minute, you can't do anything with this. We're 30 minutes into the session. It's just not moving. So dud session today. Not going to be very easy to make money on anything today. 1 minute chart scalping. Get in, get out, get lucky. That's really all you can do today. There's not a lot else happening. Load of rubbish. Afternoon, Plowman. I'd also ask if Dow would also be similar. Yeah, so Dow is yeah, but everything is off at the moment. So depends how what strategy you're trading. Yeah, so you can, as with me, I don't let anything run on full automation. Yeah, I'm a trader. I trade on the charts. I watch the charts, and the automation aspect for me is just to get the orders placed, do the calculations, so I don't have to worry about doing anything manually. When you're looking at it today, they are very, 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 very correlated. So you can make a decision to go, do you know what? These are all moving identically today. So I'm going to reduce risk. I'm going to not trade the Dow today. So you just cancel the pending orders off. Yeah. And just go, not doing that today, because they're all doing exactly the same thing with exactly the same price action at exactly the same time. So if you're trading all three, you've got 3 times the risk. However, if you're happy to have 3 times the risk because you're having an absolute screamer of a month, stick 3 times the risk on. It's entirely up to you, isn't it? But you will have days where this thing will sit around like that at the open. This thing will start to come down at the open, and the NASDAQ will pop because there's been a load of news which has affected Apple, Tesla, and Nvidia, and Facebook, and that all starts to scream. Whereas nothing else is going to move, is it? The industrial stocks aren't going to move because NASDAQ stocks are rallying. Yeah, it's got nothing to do. They're not related in any way, shape, or form. The S&P and the Dow, however, do have similar sectors. So, or crossover. But right now, it's, this is algorithmic. This is the market algorithms just placing orders, getting the liquidity of what needs to be done. So the commercial desks will be sitting there going, we need to buy this, we need to sell this, we need to buy this, we need to sell this. And they'll just be executing orders. So you're just going to see order execution. There's nothing speculative being traded at the moment. Yeah. There's no banks sitting there going, right, let's hammer the Dow. Because you'd be mental to hammer the Dow when Trump has just said he's going to say something this afternoon that's going to affect the stock markets. Sit around and wait. Yeah. Make your move when he makes his. Watch his social media feed. If he says to buy it, buy it. It's called insider trading. But no one said you can't do it. Anyway. So yeah, nothing happening today. So I haven't really got anything else to discuss today. There's not really anything we can do at the minute. Just sit there and wait. So I will take a long on the NAS if it decides to rally, and I'll take a short if we decide to dump on the FTSE and the DAX. If you want to, obviously, you've got a beautiful 30-minute range established here on all indices. Yeah. Obviously, the range is smaller than my settings, but if you have different settings to me and you're using 15% of the range as a minimum, then you're probably in trades. Probably stopped out of trades, but that's why I have my settings the way I have my settings. But there's nothing to say you can't just place manual orders and just go for those. If it's going to break today, you've got a beautiful range established at the open, and we're coming up in 20 minutes. So another 4 candles on the 5-minute chart, and you've got your initial balance in. If the initial balance and the TPO are the same, it means that you've got an inside bar, 30-minute inside bar on the initial TPO. Break of either of those would be a very good trade today, because you've got nice tight ranges established. If we're going to put in even half an ADR's worth of movement, you've got a very nice risk reward on the table there. But it's got to move. At the minute, it's not looking like it wants to do anything, is it? Too many wicks everywhere. Dead. Not a lot we can do with it, is there? Breakout strategy is not really doing a lot today either, as you'd expect, because we're not really breaking out, are we? Euro CAD's on the move. I know, it's only because I'm in the wrong direction on it. Nothing's on the move, is it? It's dead. Look at it. It's this. We're waiting, aren't we? We're waiting to see what Trump does next. So I'll call it a day there. There's not really a lot I can do with this today. So I would suggest you probably do the same. Go and do something else. What's happening with my top step accounts? I haven't got any at the moment. Not trading top step at the minute. So I might start an FTMO account just because I want to do it on automation. But yeah, not trading top step at the minute. Got stopped out on those, as usual. This is the thing with, if you were trading on any funded account with the ORB strategy over the last 5 weeks, there's no way on earth you are not funded with a load of money. Yeah. I just don't do it because I can't trade my own capital. There's no point. But I like to play with top step. I like the challenge of passing top step, but I just know you're not going to keep the account. It's very hard to keep any account that has got so many restrictions on it. So quiet session, nothing we can do. Nope, can't do anything with this. It's just dead. Wiki. So you've got a range break set up. Beautiful range break. So these ranges are not, they're all less than 20% of ADR. So if we get a move of 20% of ADR, you've got a 1-to-1 risk reward, haven't you? So even if the market just moves 20% of its average range today, you've easily got a 1-to-1. But it's got to move 20% of its average daily range, and it's not doing anything, is it? We are inside bar on the 15. So if you look at this on a, so if you look at, we've got to a 30-minute and look at a TPO chart. Yeah. So that is your initial TPO. This is your second 30-minute. We are inside bar. So this is forming a D, which is a rotation day. There's no, the value is buying the low and selling the high. So value area high, value area low, buys and sells today is where the opportunity lies until Trump opens his mouth and this goes like that. So yeah, so that's where we are at the moment. So break of that low, break of that high. You've got 13 minutes left until the hour is up. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see this. So this is Friday session, look. So that's the open from Friday there. And we got exactly the same. We're getting the same price action we had Friday. Friday was difficult to trade, yeah. So we had an inside bar. We tapped the high, closed inside, opened, couldn't close outside. So for 4 hours, we sat in rotation. And then it finally broke towards end of day. But, you know, it took, well, these are 30-minute candles, obviously. So it took, 2 hours, 2.5 hours before we finally got a break. So exactly the same situation. Inside bars, take a break of the initial TPO if it goes, but don't expect to get anything more than a 1-to-1 out of it unless he says something. If he says something, obviously, we'll be wherever we're going, aren't we? But right now, it's just nothing to do. So you can either take a break of the inside bar. We got some selling coming in. Look. Does look bearish, doesn't it? The market's got no confidence. I'm so surprised. I was expecting a pop today, but I was so surprised it didn't do it. If you try FTMO, will you use your position trade at EA? ORB. Yeah. Anything you do on prop, you've got to do intraday. You can't position trade on prop. They won't give you enough leverage and they won't give you enough drawdown. Yeah, you can't. Position trading is swing trading. It's all about letting the market breathe with no loss, with no stop loss. You can't do that on prop because they put those silly limits on your drawdown. Don't work. Am I trading SIH this week? No. Not this week. I mean, it's doing SIH will be doing the same. To be honest, SIH, I've got some work to do on SIH in getting the. I want to rework the loss recovery system on it. I love the SIH. I prefer it to normally. I prefer it to ORB. I love the new ORB. I think it's much better. So I kind of swing between the two. SIH, obviously, with this type of market, you're going to get really hedged really quickly. You get a better result at the moment with the opening range breakout EA, just because we're in a volatile period. But when that days like today, SIH is going to hedge. ORB is going to stop out. So you're going to get roughly the same results, really, except with SIH, all you're doing is the stock index hedge is just taking less trades, isn't it, every day? But the danger with SIH is you can't run SIH manually without manual intervention at the moment, because you've got to be ready to re-hedge. So some of these days we've been getting where we've been getting 300% ADRs, you've got to be re-hedging those. If you don't, you're gonna get really hurt. So you got to be a bit careful with that one. So there's your initial sell at the open. Propulsion gap is holding at the moment. So buyers can't get through. Sellers can't get anywhere either. So just had something coming on the news. Oh, it's fear and greed. 31. Oh, look. Carney's talking. Nah, dead. Right, I'm going to leave it there today. There's nothing much we can do today. It's not going anywhere, is it? So FX-wise, there's not a lot really to look at either. So it's a case of just sitting around waiting today. Unfortunately, I think until we get some clarification as to what Trump's plans are with this trade war, I think we're going to get a lot of days like this where we're just going to sit around now. So volatility seems to be returning back to potential pre-announcement levels. And if that's the case, it's going to be hard to make money on anything because it ain't going to move. One thing we need as traders is price to move from A to B, because we buy it at A and we sell it at B. If it just sits around doing that, very difficult. So, yeah, today is a watch day. We'll see what happens. We'll watch the markets, see where Trump takes it later on when he announces whatever he's going to announce. And then we'll see where the market decides to go from there. I'm back on Wednesday this week. So Wednesday morning is members stream. Wednesday afternoon is a normal stream. So if you're not a member, we'll be back Wednesday afternoon. If you are a member, we'll be doing another session on Wednesday morning, which will be kind of an education session. Not sure what yet. Haven't decided. But yeah, Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon this week. Fridays, not here. And obviously next Monday, not here. So it's only 2 more streams this week, because obviously it's a bit of a weird week with Easter. So yeah, there we go. If you need anything, I'll be in Discord. But other than that, not a lot else really to do today. So sit around, watch. If you want to take a break of that 30-minute range, then go for it. I think that's the only opportunity you're going to get to make money today. And if it goes, it could go big. But it could also just chop up and down all day long. So just be careful. Don't try and squeeze the market. Don't try and push it. Take a break. If the break doesn't work out, take the loss and walk away. It's going to be one of those days where if you fight the market, it will just empty your account. So just be careful. Right, I will be back on Wednesday. Anything you need, let me know in Telegram or Discord. Other than that, I will see you next time. Have a good day.